welcome to the APMA podcast. I'm back with another one today for you guys and gals. You know, don't want to exclude half the human race. Some people say there's in between, but do you know what I mean? We're just going to stick with guys and gals, all right? For now. Anyway, I will be doing a solo today. Don't get too disappointed. Don't switch off just yet. Please. Stay. Please stay. Jordan is not feeling too great, so I thought I'd probably give him a break. And Dan, I don't actually know. I haven't heard from Dan. I did only send the message yesterday if we'd be free for today to do a live stream, so I guess that is, I should have said a little bit earlier. But I haven't heard from Dan, so I hope he's all right. But I thought I'd do one. I'd get a podcast up because I want to keep to the Thursday uploads, or weekly uploads at least. Anyway, firstly, I hope, wherever you are, you're having a good day. If you're listening to this on the way into work, way back from work, or you pulled a sickie, and you listen to this while you should be at work, well done you. You're smart. I respect you. I respect you for it. And people should respect you for it. Taking a sickie, it needs to be done. You know, sometimes it needs to be done. Perhaps not every month, every couple of weeks, but it does need to be done. Anyway, I hope you're having a good day, whatever you're doing. I also hope, which we will be talking about, if you did look at the thumbnail, obviously audio listeners, you don't have that privilege, but you do see the titles, I hope. I hope you're safe if you are anywhere near Florida, because that looks gnarly. That looks dangerous, and I just hope you're well and you're safe. And you haven't been blown into fucking outer orbit or something like that. But yeah, we're talking about the hurricane because some of the fucking stats and shit on it are just disgusting. I'm speaking as someone who's never seen in person winds of more than like 45 miles an hour, probably a bit more. We have had winds that are like 60, 70 miles an hour, but not a tornado or a hurricane. I mean, fucking hell. That's something else. But yeah, I hope you're all well. I'm well. I'm safe. No worries about me at the moment. I think, you know, the things that I'm probably not safe from is the miserable weather and rain, which I won't be complaining about too much, given the kind of subject of this podcast, but it does get on my tits, you know, and I do feel sorry for myself. Like, I don't mind it cold, but I'm not a massive fan of it pissing down and rain. And I can imagine there's a lot of people who have homes in Florida who also don't like bad weather. So, like I said, I'm not going to harp on too much about it, but my life's hard, and I dislike the weather at the moment. There you go, I said it. Was that insensitive? Hopefully. Look, no, I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I just mean that my life's hard. And your life's probably hard. Alright, bit of rain, fucks you off. Bit of heat, as I'm a Brit, if it's too much, too humid, fucks me off too. There's a Goldilocks zone, very, very small, that keeps me happy in terms of the weather. Anyway. So, today's going to be like just looking through what's been kind of, I'd say, reported about and destroyed as of yet, because the storm or the hurricane or whatever you want to call it, the act of God, I will go as far as that for people who do believe it is an act of God, because insurance companies fucking do. You know, we don't cover you for acts of God. Oh, right, so when I took the policy out, I didn't realise you were fucking raging fundamentalists. I didn't realise you believed in a higher power. In that case, I just would have not, you know, gone with a company that believes that all hurricanes are acts of God, you know, because that's fucking mental. Anyway, you're welcome to that belief, but in my opinion, you're fucking mental. Look, going to be talking about the hurricane. Right? winds of over 120 miles an hour. That's insane. That's horrible. And if you live in Florida and for whatever reason you just decided to click on this podcast and listen to it, I hope you're okay. If you're outside of Florida, you've left your home. Also, I hope that your home isn't completely totaled when you get back to it. And I also hope that you get the support that you will clearly fucking need based on some of the pictures that I've seen of this hurricane. So I'll read an article that's probably got a lot more knowledge than I would have been able to conjure together anyway. Apparently this hurricane has also spawned 27 tornadoes. As if the hurricane wasn't enough, it's got minion tornadoes to just fucking eat up all the scavenged, like ravaged towns around Florida. So you got the big fucker called Milton. Who the fuck decides to call a Hurricane Milton? It's like taking the piss, much like this podcast, some people would say. But it's taking the piss, you know? I know they do it on an alphabetical order, but you could come up with a more, I don't know, domineering name than Milton. You've named it after the accountant at some random fucking company. Oh yeah, that's Milton. Watch out for him. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. Starts spinning really fast and then just ends up like destroying buildings and that. It's actually quite strong. Probably should get on his good side, really. What other name could you call it? I don't know. Even something like Marcus is a bit more. You know, it's got a bit more to it than Milton. Milton just, I don't know, like I said, the accountant. Wears glasses, probably plays some sort of game that involves waifu shit on the Oculus. Probably, you know, up there with, you know, playing some of the more, I don't know, games like Roblox, kind of aimed at the younger audience. I don't know. Maybe he likes it. I don't know. Nothing untoward happening. Just saying, Milton, he's a bit of a, you know, he's a bit of a prick. Like, he's not. No, like, I mean, the hurricane is, if it had a personality. But I'm just saying there's got to be a more dangerous name than Milton to give to a Category 3 hurricane. Which, by the way, I'm reliably informed by a quick Google search. Category 1, okay, is a storm that has wind speeds of between 74 miles an hour and 95 miles an hour. A Category 2 storm is 96 miles an hour to 110 miles per hour. So this storm, hurricane, whatever you want to call it, is a Category 3. I think there's 5 categories. And if we ever get a 5, I don't actually think anyone would survive. So a Category 3 is 110 to 129 miles per hour. And then anything over 130 to 156 miles per hour is a Category 4. And then you really don't, like, when you start getting into, you know, wind speeds of up to 180 miles an hour, I don't think there's point counting anymore. I really think that if you're trying to document the speed at which wind will flow through the towns and cities that are being basically blown off the earth, I don't think we need to know how fast it is. I just don't think it's that important. I really don't. If someone's like looking at the devastation in their area and then someone asks the question, how fast did the wind reach? Please. My insurance company wants to know, because then they'll decide whether it's an act of God. You know? I don't think there's no point in counting. After a Category 3 storm, just don't bother. If you're out, if for whatever reason you were out, and I know there has been some people who have tried to stick it out and stayed at home, sensibly that can be argued. Like, some people lived in their towns, their cities for their entire lives and don't want to leave because they're stubborn. I get it. They've boarded up their houses. They've tried to, make the best precautions they can not to be basically rattled and ragdolled through their house. But there are people who have just gone, nah, I'll fucking stream it or something on TikTok from like a random boat in the sea off the coast, or I'll just stay in a fucking tent or something. They're going to be out there. I know there are. I definitely know about the one on the boat. I don't know if it's real. It might have been a different storm. But there were people in a boat either filming or live streaming the incoming Category 3 storm. It's an interesting decision. Strange. Interesting. But there we go. Also, photographers are a lot braver than I thought. Or they're so desperate to get the pictures, one of the two. So obviously, there will be photographers just roaming around the wreckage, and whilst the hurricane is going and basically fucking up everything in its path, and the photographers are there, just there to catch the moment. But it only really dawned on me, I don't know why it didn't sooner than it did, but they have to be where the hurricane is to take the photo most of the time. There might be a few, few fucking photographers out there who just get the massive fuck off zoom lens and take a half decent picture from about, a mile away. I don't even know if that's possible. Don't know much about photography. Anyone who knows stuff about photography, let me know. Are these people brave or stupid or desperate? They could be all three. So keep that in mind. But yeah, so I'll read from this article. It's on Sky News. I don't know. I feel like I have to say that just in case there's a legal thing that I need to tell people where I'm reading it from. For the audio listeners, really only, because if you're watching it, you'll see it's got fucking Sky News at the top of the article. So that would eliminate most people's doubt about where this is being read from. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to pop this on screen. So, Hurricane Milton crashes into Florida with 120-mile-per-hour winds, destroying homes and leaving millions without power. It's a very, very happy story, this. If you're looking for a good, happy time, I'll try to make it as light as I possibly can, put a few laughs in there, but ultimately, people are losing their homes, and there's been reported deaths. So, this might be your chance to say, look, I'll skip this one. I'll skip it. I'm not, last week I did like traditional snacks, traditional like dishes from different areas of the world, different countries. Had a bit of fun with that. Accidentally said the Germans don't matter, which I don't mean. Klopp for life. I love that man. So this might be a bit of a change up. I'm going to try and make it as light as I can. Unlike the storm, which is heavy. Heavy. I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best. So you can stick with it or you can leave. It's up to you. Milton has caused at least 27 tornadoes to rip through Florida so far, with 2 deaths reported in Lozzy County. RIP, first of all. Don't want anyone to die. Unnecessarily, I just want to say that. I don't want people to think I have ill intent to the people of Florida, all right? I'd love to go there, preferably not when there's a Category 3 storm. But I want to go there because I've heard that Universal Studios is sick, and I'm not really fussed about Disney World, to be honest. But Universal Studios is my port of call to go to if I ever go to Florida, which I hope I do one day. So, Lozzy County suffered 2 deaths, unfortunately. 27 tornadoes is wild. Like, as a person who's never seen one in, like, reality, I've never seen a tornado. I've seen a couple of water spout things. Do they count? I don't think they do. 27 tornadoes because of one storm is overkill. It is, isn't it? It's like when you had I can't remember what guns they were called, but on was it Modern Warfare 2? This is going back now. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. You had those kind of, I don't know if they were shotguns or like some sort of short cut off rifles. You could just have, like, in both 1287 I've got on my head. Model 1287s, right? I think they were like lever action pistols. I might be wrong. They were devastating. That was overkill. And then you saw people getting like fucking tactical nukes within like 3 seconds by just using nude tubes. Do you know what I mean? That's the same. It's the same energy, right? There's too many tornadoes, too many exploits. All right. So Milton just needs to chill out with the 27. Very well. It's 27 tornadoes doesn't even make sense in my mind. Like, there can't even be enough land for 27 tornadoes to even fucking hit. Surely, like, 27 tornadoes, like, mold into one. Surely. Like, if there's 27 tornadoes across the UK, that wouldn't make sense to me. And I know Florida is, I don't know how big it is compared to the UK, but I'd hazard a guess it's pretty big compared to the UK. Probably not as big. But yeah, 27 tornadoes. Don't make sense. It's a conspiracy now. I've gone all in on conspiracy. Hurricane Milton crashed into Florida with winds of 24 miles per hour, 120 miles per hour, before battering coastal areas and producing at least 27 tornadoes across the state. The Category 3 storm roared ashore near Siesta Key in Sarasota. That might be pronounced wrong. Sarasota County around 8:30 p.m. local time on Wednesday, the National Hurricane Center, NHC for short, in Miami said. However, Milton's winds weakened to 90 miles per hour overnight, making it a lower Category 1 storm, the NHC said. See, we're all already blasting it out of proportion. Yeah, it's fucking easy now, right? All this reporting. About 125 homes were destroyed before the hurricane even made landfall, many of them mobile homes and communities for senior citizens. Kevin Guthrie, director of Florida Division of Emergency Management, said. The hurricane also knocked out power for more than 3 million homes and businesses in the state on Wednesday night, according to the poweroutage.us, which tracks utility reports. The highest number of outages were in Sarasota County and neighboring Manatee County. Got such weird names for counties, isn't they, in America? I mean, I don't live there. I don't know much about the area. But Sarasota and Manatee, I don't know. Cool names, though. Picture of some damage there. A fairly catastrophic. That is a crane that's collapsed into a building. So it's kind of got a collateral there. I don't know why I keep linking shit back to Call of Duty. It's just where my mind goes. I do apologise. But yeah, so the storms knocked the crane over into a building that's then caused massive damage to that building. Funny, I told you it was going to be funny. It's a funny fucking podcast, this will be labelled as a comedy. You know, in years to come, this will be labelled as the mistakenly comedic but not received comedically well at the time podcast. It's not a very catchy title. I'll probably have to work on that. Tampa Bay, where nearly everybody on the west coast of Florida lives, have has avoided a direct hit, but a storm surge is expected to crash into the densely populated cities of Tampa and St. Petersburg in the area. That crane is, it says at the bottom here, is in St. Petersburg, so they didn't even get the direct hit of the storm surge and still managed to absolutely topple a fucking crane into a building. A storm surge is also expected to hit the coastal cities of Sarasota and Fort Myers further south. The hurricane shredded the fabric roof of the Tropicana Field Stadium, home of the Tampa Bay Rays baseball team in St. Petersburg. Terrible news. I don't want to go on a tangent to kind of attack baseball, but in my opinion, it's a fucking boring game. People will say, what about cricket? And I will say, shut the fuck up. Cricket is great. I get it. It's long. You can have a 5-day match that ends in a draw. You understand. But there are different versions of the game. One-day cricket, that's more your style. Quick, big hitting. I'm going to stop trying to compare baseball to cricket because it's not really why we're here. Meanwhile, a crane collapsed into a building in the city which has recorded more than 16 inches of rain. 16 inches! That's a lot of inches. Some say too much. That's too much. Like, can you imagine, as a bloke, this one's just for the blokes, alright? Just for the blokes. Just for the men. Or the people who identify as who, whatever they want to identify with or as, but still have a penis. 16 inches. That's too much. Too much. You know, I'm fairly happy with just, you know, the 3.5. 3.5, that is, you know, not erect. I don't know. Why the fuck am I talking about my penis? For fuck's sake. 16 inches of rain, okay? That's a lot of rain. Let's get back to the topic. It's a lot of fucking rain, okay? It's a lot of rain. Too much water. How far is 16 inches? What length is it in terms of, like, centimetres? What is 16 inches in centimetres? 40 centimetres. Fuck. Okay, so now's the question. 40 inches, 16 inches to 40 centimetres. Okay. So that's like, what? Probably about a quarter of my height. Maybe like just below my knee. That's quite a bit of water. I might have made that as 40, 80. No, that's not a quarter of my... It's less than. It's probably about a fifth of my height. So it's probably like midway up the bottom of your leg. Or my legs, anyway. That's still a lot of water. That's difficult to walk through. Not great. Also, not good if you've got a lower... I mean, you shouldn't be in the city trying to drive at this point. You should either, you know, have escaped the city or the town way before this storm ever touched near where you live. Or you should be indoors, batting down the hatches, you know, boarding up your windows and all that shit. So, kind of doesn't really make sense. But if you did have a car and you were trying to fucking drive through 16 inches of rain and you had a low kind of strung car, I don't even know if that makes sense, but a car that has a lower, like, ride height, you'd probably be fucked. I mean, you'd be fucked anyway because you're in a storm driving a car through 16 inches of rain. That is pretty much the definition of fucked. Officials in St. Petersburg said no injuries have been reported in either incident at this time. It comes as people in the city have been unable to get water from their household taps because a water main break led the city to shut down service. How fucking ironic is that? Like, you ask the city, like, why have we got no running water in our taps? And then they turn around and tell you there's too much water. That's effectively what's happened. There's too much water. I'm sorry. We can't provide you drinking water because there's too much water. There's 16 inches of rain. I get it. You can't just drink fucking dirty storm city run through knocking down cranes into buildings water. It's going to have shit in it. I get it. But it's just ironic that you can't get water, drinking water, when the only thing that surrounds you is water. It comes as people in the city have been able to get water. I just read that. Twat. Anyway. Biden warns of storms' incredible destructiveness. Heavy rains are also likely to cause flooding inland along rivers and lakes as Milton traverses the Florida peninsula as a hurricane, eventually to emerge in the Atlantic Ocean on Thursday. That's another thing I was going to mention, is that this is like a very much an ongoing thing, and I didn't actually know when it was due to end. I think there is a graphic further on, which I will try my best to describe to the audio listeners. It kind of gives you like the timeline of the projected path and the severity of the storm as it goes over Florida. At the time of landfall, nearly 100,000 people were in evacuation centers across Florida, Sky News' U.S. partner network NBC reported, citing the Florida Division of Emergency Management. Speaking from the White House earlier on Wednesday, President Joe Biden said Milton is expected to be one of the most destructive hurricanes in Florida in over a century. That's fucking mad. That is fucking mad. One of the most destructive hurricanes in Florida in over a century. We'll have to see a little bit later on how it stacks up in terms of the power and strength of the storm against things like Katrina and other storms that have hit the US. He said it carries incredible destructiveness and can wipe out communities and cause loss of life, while urging everyone in its path to listen to the advice of local officials. Not because, let's be honest, is anyone really going to listen to Biden if he says shit? I'm not getting political. I just mean, is he all there? That's a question that's been asked a lot of times. Doesn't really matter now, because he's kind of just the president. He's kind of just been left to see out the rest of his term. And he's been like, well, he's already said he's not going to run another time. You know, Kamala Harris is now going to run, but we'll let him stay. You know, we'll let him do what he thinks is a good idea. Perhaps not every idea. And we'll just say to him what to say during times of crisis. Just to keep everyone at ease. Here is the graphic. I think. I'm not sure now. It basically shows you the projected path of Hurricane Milton, which is the red portion. And it goes from the left to the right. So you got all the places that we previously talked about: Tampa, St. Petersburg, Sarasota, and Fort Myers. On the Jesus Christ, I forgot. Never eat shredded wheat. On the West Coast, fuck me, I just had to do never eat shredded wheat. I can't believe that. So on the West Coast, you've got St. Petersburg, Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers that have all got the brunt of it so far. And then on the east side, you've got Miami right at the bottom. Orlando kind of towards the middle, probably more east. And just out of the projected path, or just inside, it's going to get, it's pretty much like 50-50 whether you're going to get hit with the full brunt of the storm if you're in Orlando. Miami, based on the projection, and it is a projection, looks like it might be okay from the strongest part of the storm. Milton has caused at least 27 tornadoes to rip through Florida so far, the National Weather Service in the US said. Officials said that the National Weather Service was still working to confirm all the reports due to the treacherous conditions in the state. Meteorology professor Victor Gensini, I'm probably fucking your name up royally, but I don't care, said the ferocity of the tornadoes seen during the Hurricane Milton's approach was definitely out of the ordinary. He said hurricanes do produce tornadoes, but they're usually weak. There's an incredible amount of swirling going on. This guy's a meteorologist, or a professor of meteorology, and he says there's an incredible amount of swirling going on. I know he's been quoted, and he's probably said more than that, but it doesn't seem very scientific. At least 2 people were confirmed to have been killed in a tornado in St. Lucie County, a southeastern region in Fort Pierce, or is that Pierce? I don't know. NBC reported. A spokesman for the St. Lucie Fire District confirmed the deaths and that multiple other people were taken to hospitals. Another picture here of some of the water, which is pretty sizable. You can see from like the lamppost and the what I'm assuming is some sort of telephone pole. It's quite far up it, you know. It's not like over halfway, but 16 inches looks about right. Daylight will reveal the full impact. Reporting from Tampa as the storm made landfall 60 miles away, Sky News US correspondent James Matthews said you could feel its devastating power. Just a quick note, right, on reporters that do this sort of thing. Like, whenever there's danger or war or like an assassination attempt or like a serious like crime of some description, it's just like a whole host of people that are just there to talk from the scene where it happened, and they're paid to basically walk into war zones, devastating floods and storms in the middle of assassination attempts, in the middle of, you know, crime scenes. All right, not right in the middle. They don't go up to the fucking body and start like, you know, get the fucking close up. Yep, get the close up. Yeah, on the mangled face. That's it. Yep. Now pull back slightly, pan up. Greg, you've done a masterful shift there. Well done. You know, it's not like that, but it just is strange to me that these people are literally paid to go to places that are of high danger risk. I guess that's why they get paid quite a bit, I'd imagine. Anyway, James Matthews, who was one of the guys you could either say unlucky or lucky to be in this position, said you could feel its devastating power. He also said you can hear it in the roar and sense it. You can feel it in the wind, he said. A picture of I won't play, you know, the videos, unfortunately, just in case they are claimed, because, you know, at the end of the day, I want this podcast to make 14p. That's what I want. All right, I won't, just in case. I really can't be asked to deal with copyright strikes. They fuck me off. They fuck everyone off. All right, and when you try and use something with fair use, and, you know, talk over the top of videos, change them in certain ways, cut them differently, and you still get copyright claimed, then you just really give up, to be honest. So it's really got nothing to do with the amount of money that the video makes or doesn't make because of a claim. I just can't be asked to deal with it. I just want to make a podcast, you know. They have called this a historic hurricane, the strongest to hit this part of Florida for more than 100 years, reduced from a Category 5 to a Category 3 storm by the time it hit. But that doesn't mean that it is not extremely powerful, extremely dangerous, and will have one images a devastating impact. Imagines. I just read that wrong. One imagines a devastating impact. This is all happening in the hours of darkness. Daylight will reveal the full impact of Hurricane Milton. So if I go back on here, it actually was downgraded from a Category 5, which I will try to reliably inform you. A Category 5 storm is a maximum sustained wind peaked at 100 miles per hour. So at some point, the winds were recorded or estimated to be up to 180 miles an hour, and then they dropped to between 110 to 129 miles per hour. That's still fucking, that's speedy. That's speedy. That's quick. You don't want to be hit. Oh, you don't really want to be hit by winds of more than 50 miles an hour. Like, it fucking hurts. And I'm just talking to someone who tried to walk in like 50 miles an hour wind. If you're trying to do anything in wind that strong or that fast, flowing that fast, I don't really need to tell you how bad that is. But if you are thinking like, I could do that, I could walk through 100 plus miles per hour wind speed, I'm sorry, you are fucking retarded. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Just, I know you want to be all Sigma and that, alpha male. I can beat the wind. Fuck Mother Nature. I'll punch it. You wouldn't even be able to lift your arm. You wouldn't even be able to process the thought of trying to punch wind. Because before you could even get your synapses to fucking fire, which, let's be honest, if you're trying to do this and you think you could do this, probably going to take a long time to fire anyway. But before you could do any of that, you would be blown probably halfway across the fucking county. 100%. You die. You're basically going to die. All right? Another picture here of a boat that rests against a bridge after it had been basically just uplifted and smashed into the bridge. It's a low bridge. I say that, it could be just the water level's quite high. But either way, I don't think that boat's functional. That's the important thing. Another picture here of what I don't understand how or why this person is in the position that they're in. But it literally just says, a man wanders through deserted streets in Tampa, and he's got what looks like a BMX, a baseball bat, I think, that's across the handlebars. He's got a green hard hat on, and looks like he's wearing some sort of shorts. Shorts, I might be wrong, in what can only be described as monsoon levels of rain. I hope he's all right. Maybe he was able to do a couple of BMX tricks to outmaneuver the storm. I'm not saying it's not possible. Nothing is impossible. I don't know. Maybe later on there's someone who's doing a couple of pop shove-its, maybe a couple of manuals, maybe even a kickflip over a tornado. You don't know. It could be a special wave of evasion tactics. I don't know. Milton slammed into a Florida region, still reeling from Hurricane Helene? I did not know about that one. Hurricane Helene, which caused heavy damage to beach communities with storm surge and killed a dozen people in a seaside Pinellas? I don't even know how you pronounce that. Pinellas. Pinellas County. I don't know. On Wednesday, officials issued last-ditch attempts urging the near 2 million people under evacuation orders to flee or face slim chances of survival. Kathy Perkins, emergency management director in the Pinellas County, said those of you who were punched during Hurricane Helene, this is going to be a knockout. Oh, I see what she's done there. Right. I took the words as verbatim, like literally. So there's like people just going around punching other people in hurricanes. That's nasty. Don't do that. Those of you who were punched during Hurricane Helene, this is going to be a knockout. You need to get out, and you need to get out now. Picture there with a boarded up, what looks like a barber's shop. And it just says in sprayed paint, "Pray for Orlando." So, yeah. If there are people, still there, like I said before, I hope you're alright. I really do. While Paul Womble, great fucking name, Paul Womble, which is Polk County Emergency Management Director. There's a lot of directors, a lot of management going on, Paul Womble, Emergency Management Director for Polk County. Well, he said, unless you really have a good reason to leave at this point, we suggest you should just hunker down. Right, he's now talking about if you hadn't already left for the evacuation order and now the storm is basically here, don't go outside, please. A stream of vehicles was pictured heading north on Interstate 75, the main road on the west side of the peninsula, as residents followed evacuation orders. Jesus Christ. Right, so I won't play the video because it's Sky News, but it does say in the infographic that is on this picture or thumbnail for the video, it does have a storm surge of over 4 meters of water. That's shit. What do you even do? Like, if you see 4, let alone a tsunami, right? Let's just get the tsunami thing out of your head. What do you do when you see 4 meters of water come at you? I mean, the obvious answer is go, well, I can swim it. But if it's coming at you with some force, or it's inside, you're fucked. You got to get out, and then you got to be subject to whatever the fuck else is outside. Like 120 miles an hour wind. Traffic also clogged up on the southbound lanes of the road for miles as others headed for relative safety of Fort Lauderdale and Miami on the other side of the state. Meanwhile, animals at Tampa's zoo took shelter in hurricane-haunted buildings. Once past Florida, Milton should weaken over the west of the Atlantic Ocean, possibly dropping below hurricane strength on the Thursday night. But storm surges will still pose a threat to the state's Atlantic coast. That's a lot. Like, it would be interesting to kind of think about, and it would have been cool to get the other two guys' opinion on it. I mean, my opinion would be just to get if it was here, if the hurricane happened where I live, I mean, I'd have to leave. It'd be shit because there's only one route out, and it would be clogged up to fuck. It would take fucking ages for people to evacuate. And I guess there would be a lot of people similar to this scenario where they just go, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to try and hunker down and, try and wait it out. It'd probably be, I'd say, an absolute massacre because I just don't think that the majority of buildings here would be able to sustain fucking Category 2 or even Category 1 hurricanes, let alone 3. So, and 27 tornadoes was probably just going to finish everyone off that stayed anyway. But yeah, it would be interesting to see what those guys said, although I do think they'd probably just say the same. Just get the fuck out of Dodge. But yeah, that's horrible. I suppose it is nice that the zoo are trying to take care of the animals there. You just imagine, like, you're hunkered down in your home. The zoo's gone to shit. They've tried their best they possibly can to contain all the animals. And then, like, the park sustains damage. The security fences get blown apart. And you just got a fucking Roman tiger you got to deal with. Like, I'm trapped in a house and there's a tiger outside and there's strong winds, I can't really go outside because I'll die. But also, I'm pretty sure the tiger's going to want to come inside if it doesn't get blown away already. Doesn't have to be a tiger, I suppose. It's just the first thing that popped into my head. You could have lions out there, anything. I don't know. Fucking lemurs. Lemurs would probably get fucked up, though, wouldn't they? Like 120 miles an hour wind against a lemur. They're going to get fucked up. As we would. Basically, anything bigger than us would probably be, obviously, a little bit better. But anything smaller, like meerkats, they're getting ragdolled. They're getting fucking absolutely torpedoed against the nearest fucking surface that's withstood the already strong wind. What other animals would probably be alright? I reckon like some of the monkeys would be alright because they'll be able to like cling to shit. Chimpanzees will probably be alright because they're strong as well. They're fucking mental, chimpanzees. Silverbacks, I don't even know if they keep them in zoos after Harambe and all that. Was Harambe a silverback? I don't know. Probably not. But yeah, anything smaller than a human is getting fucked. Fucked by Mother Nature. Fucked by wind. Fucked by storm surge. It's getting fucked. I don't know how many times I've said fuck in this podcast, but it's been quite a lot. I don't censor myself, you know? I like to keep myself raw. Unedited. Unless I, say things wrong too much. Then I will edit it. Just for your sake, really. But yeah, it's nice to think that the animals are trying to be taken care of. I mean, there will be some people who work at the zoo question like, we are having to stay here and put the animals into basically better shelter than we have, and we've got to wait until the storm is closer until we can fucking leave and try and evacuate. Probably not the best scenario in the world, but there we go. So what I want to do, I want to compare this to other hurricanes or other storms that the US have had. How does Hurricane Milton compare to other US hurricanes? I read it earlier on about the Hurricane Helene. I knew nothing about it. I honestly didn't. Hurricane Helene made landfall, or Helene. Is it Helene? I don't know. Such a weird. It just looks weird. It's probably a very simple name. Made landfall in the Big Bend coastal region of northwest Florida, with a storm surge reported over 15 feet. This area of Florida has been relatively low population density. Has a very relatively low population density. However, as this was so big, there was also a storm surge down along the Florida coast to Tampa Bay, which is another place that we've mentioned, or I have mentioned in this other article that's been hit. At this time, the surge of 7.8 feet, or 2.5 meters, near enough, became the highest on record in Tampa, with the U.S. National Hurricane Center forecasting a storm surge of 10 to 15 feet, or 3 to 5 meters for Tampa Bay during Hurricane Milton. This record is very likely to be exceeded. After making landfall just before 11:30 in the at night or in the evening, local time, on the 26th of December, it says September, and I knew it said September, 26th of September, sorry. Helene weakened and its remnants stalled across the Appalachian Mountains and Tennessee Valley. Enormous rainfall totals built up, with 30.78 inches or 782 millimeters. That's a lot. 78 centimeters. Recorded at Busick North Carolina. This extreme rainfall resulted in catastrophic flooding and landslide. In contrast, Hurricane Milton will move quickly across Florida, resulting in up to 18 inches of rain. So, hang on. This other one had more rainfall, but I didn't know of it. I'm not saying I should know, like, I'm not an expert or an enthusiast, but the news really do pick and choose which ones they fucking shout about, don't they? Will the wind strength be similar? Fuck me, I can't read now, and I couldn't read before. So Helene had a Category 4 hurricane status with sustained winds of over 140 miles per hour and was at its peak strength when it made landfall. See, again, this is a bigger hurricane. At its peak, Hurricane Milton was even stronger with sustained winds around 180 miles per hour, a top-rated Category 5 hurricane. It will weaken slightly before landfall, becoming a Category 4 with wind speeds in excess of 130 miles an hour, with gusts higher. Perhaps the wind damage will end up being similar for both hurricanes, with Milton's marginally less strong winds being offset by those winds affecting more populous area of Florida. Oh, this is an interesting one. Hurricane Katrina. I know why I said that. So Hurricane Katrina made landfall near New Orleans in August 2005. Fucking hell, that was almost 20 years ago. As a Category 3 and was at the time the strongest and most destructive hurricane to hit the US, killing around 1,300 people. However, before landfall, and just like Helene, only 2 weeks ago, Katrina was a more powerful Category 5 hurricane in the hours before landfall. While Katrina, Helene, and now Milton have taken different paths and making landfall in different areas, this is one big similarity. They all underwent rapid intensification in the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico and headed towards the US coast. If atmospheric conditions are right, the sea surface temperatures higher than 27 Celsius, tropical cyclones here can develop very quickly. So it was a Category 3. Katrina was a Category 3 when it hit. And that killed 1,300 people. That's fucking insane. That is insane. Don't fuck with nature, man. Don't fuck with nature. Because when it fucking comes for you, it's indiscriminate and it will fuck you up. Like, 100% is going to be fucking you up. Big time. I should get rid of this, really, shouldn't I? But yeah. Crazy fucking scenes. Some of the videos I've seen, like, there's what pretty much standard happens every strong storm or hurricane or tornado. It's just it's when the power goes out. I don't know why it becomes more scary or you feel more fear. Like a transformer box explodes with a big blue fucking light. But just knowing that you've lost another element of some sort of comfort in a time where you're literally like inside praying that you don't get a direct hit from a strong gust of wind or a tornado, 1 of 27. It's just, I don't know. It's not. It shouldn't be more. It should be more unsettling, but at the same time, not. Like, you already know there's a tornado. There's a good chance there's more than one tornado outside just waiting for you. But then the power goes off. And you're like, oh shit. That's just not a good feeling, is it? It's not. And I suppose that goes for more than just that scenario. Whenever power goes off, it also you just know something's wrong. Like, your body tells you there's something wrong. I have a lot of power cuts. Again, I'm not gonna compare my spate of power cuts to the people who are probably lost their homes. Some of them lost their lives, loved ones, pets, unless they were at the zoo. That seemed like a good, although you would have to be there with animals, just hunker down in the zoo. It seems like the animals are well kept, taken care of. Slip into the cage with something preferably not lethal. Like, don't start trying to fuck around in, the primates and the fucking big cats and shit. Lemurs, meerkats, wherever they're going, if you can fit. You could probably, if you get attacked, as long as they ain't got like serious numbers, I reckon you'll be alright. I do. Because meerkats, I don't think will touch you. Lemurs, they could be little bastards. They could be. They just got it in their eyes. You just see it in their eyes. Little nasty bastards. But I think you got a better chance based on some of the types of buildings that are in across Florida. I mean, literally, I've seen pictures of what are basically prefabs, like homes made of very flimsy material, for the entire reason that they will just get built very quickly again, and they're cheaper compared to just building a new brick and mortar home in an area that does, by very obvious standards, get hit quite a lot with bad weather. But yeah, I haven't said stay hydrated this whole podcast, apart from now. Stay hydrated. That goes for people in Florida as well. I know you're surrounded by water, but it does seem like you're having a bit of a problem getting water from the tap if you're still there. So in any way that you can, stay hydrated, but don't drink the fucking dirty, like, hurricane water. It's probably not great. There's absolutely no need for that, and I do it every time. But yeah, that's just me. It's what I'm like. All right, I do apologise. But yeah, I hope you're well. I just hope you're alive. 1, 2. I hope your family are good. Your pets. I hope your home's not gone. If you think I've been insensitive, I do apologise. I'm just trying to bring a bit of joy, maybe to people who mainly aren't affected by this at all. So that probably doesn't really mean that much at all, does it? But look, I tried to make a podcast that's been a little bit funny here and there, bit informative, thinking about things. I'd be absolutely shitting my punts if there was a Category 3 storm heading my way. So I'd be no different. I wouldn't be trying to take the storm on. I'll probably be getting the fuck out of here. I'll probably get hit by the storm because it would take too long to get out. And I've got a Ford Focus, so I would well and truly be just lobbed, like literally smacked into the sea. And we live right on the coast here, so we would be fucked either way, pretty much, in my opinion. But yeah. Anyway, I hope wherever you're listening or watching from, you had a good time. You enjoyed it. If you didn't, I'm guessing you're probably not watching or listening anymore, which is fine. It's your choice. Do you. But I hope you have a good day. Continue to have a good day. Stay safe. Watch out for the weather every now and again, even though they get it wrong sometimes. Don't know if they get it that wrong that much about the storms, though, the Category 3 storms. They seem to be pretty accurate with those. So keep an eye on the weather. Look after the people best you can. And I'll see you in the next one. Up the APMA. Bye-bye for now. See ya.